What happens when a school bully targets the wrong girl, one with a secret that could shatter his world? In this gripping, true crime-inspired drama, Amara Davis, a quiet black student at Lincoln High in Chicago, becomes the victim of notorious bully Ethan Brooks, who has no idea she's the adopted daughter of action star Vin Diesel. What begins as cruel taunts escalates into a shocking assault, but Amara's resilience and an unexpected reveal will bring Ethan to his knees. Stay until the end for a downfall you won't forget. Amara Davis stepped off the city bus, her sneakers crunching on the cracked sidewalk as she adjusted her backpack. Lincoln High School loomed ahead, a brick building in Chicago's South Side, its faded banners fluttering in the October 2024 breeze. The air carried the scent of diesel and autumn leaves. Students gathered at the entrance, their voices a chaotic hum, but Amara felt the familiar weight of being the new kid. At 16, she'd switched schools 3 times, each move a fresh start after years in foster care. Now, adopted by Vin Diesel and his wife 6 months ago, she was trying to adjust to her new life. Amara kept her head down, her braided hair swinging as she walked toward the entrance. She wore a gray hoodie and jeans, her brown eyes scanning for trouble. Lincoln High was a typical urban school, working-class kids, a few gang-affiliated teens, and a rigid social hierarchy. She'd learned to spot predators, those who thrived on making others feel small. Her goal was to stay invisible and get through the day. Inside, the hallways buzzed with slamming lockers and squeaking sneakers. Amara clutched her schedule, navigating to her locker. That's when she saw Ethan Brooks, a senior with a notorious reputation. Tall, with a linebacker's build, blonde buzzed hair, and a smirk that screamed trouble, Ethan leaned against a row of lockers, surrounded by his crew, 3 guys in varsity jackets, laughing too loudly. Students gave him a wide berth, their laughter fading as they passed. Amara recognized the signs. He was the king of this jungle, and she needed to steer clear. Amara was almost at her locker when Ethan's friend Jake accidentally bumped into her, sending her books crashing to the floor. The hallway quieted as heads turned. Amara's cheeks burned, but she bent down to gather her things. She heard Ethan's voice before she saw him. Well, what do we have here?" His tone was smooth, mocking. Amara froze, her fingers tightening around her textbook. She didn't look up, hoping he'd move on, but Ethan stepped closer, his shadow looming. "You knew, huh? I don't think I've seen you before." His friends snickered, egging him on. Amara stood, brushing off her jeans, and met his gaze. Ethan's blue eyes were cold, calculating. "What's your name, new girl?" "Amara," she said quietly, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. She turned to walk away, but Ethan wasn't done. "Hey, I'm talking to you," he called, his voice carrying through the hall. Students stopped to watch. Amara kept walking, her heart pounding. She'd dealt with bullies before, but Ethan's cruelty set her on edge. She felt a sharp tug on her backpack, pulling her back. She turned slowly, facing him again. Ethan crossed his arms, smirking. "You don't walk away from me, new girl. That's not how this works." Amara's jaw tightened. "I don't want trouble," she said, her voice low but firm. Ethan laughed, a sharp, mocking sound. "Trouble? Oh, you're already in trouble, sweetheart." His friends chuckled. Amara held his gaze for a moment, then turned and walked away, her steps deliberate. She could feel his eyes on her back, knowing this was far from over. Over the next few days, Ethan made Amara his target. He'd knock her books out of her hands, whisper taunts in the cafeteria, and spread rumors that she was a stuck-up foster kid. Amara tried to ignore him, keeping her head down, but Ethan's cruelty was relentless. By the end of the week, things escalated. Amara found her locker trashed, books dumped on the floor, "Loser" scrawled in red marker across the door. A small crowd gathered, some snickering, others looking away. Amara's stomach churned, but she didn't react. She picked up her books, shut her locker, and walked away. Ethan watched from across the hall, smirking. "Looks like someone's not fitting in," he called out, loud enough for everyone to hear. His friends laughed, but Amara didn't respond, denying him the satisfaction. That night, Amara sat at the kitchen table in her new home, a modern townhouse in a quiet Chicago suburb. Vin Diesel leaned against the counter watching her. "Rough day?" he asked, his voice calm but concerned. Amara nodded, tracing the edge of her glass. "This guy at school, he won't leave me alone. He trashed my locker today." Vin's jaw tightened. You want me to handle it? Amara shook her head. Number I can deal with him. I just need to be smart about it. Vin nodded. You're tougher than you look, kid. But if it gets worse, you tell me. Promise? Promise, Amara said, managing a small smile. She appreciated Vin's support, but she'd learned to fight her own battles. She just needed the right moment. The following Monday, Ethan's bullying turned violent. Amara was walking across the school courtyard during lunch, seeking a quiet spot, when Ethan and his crew cornered her near the bleachers. The courtyard was mostly empty, other students too far to notice. Ethan blocked her path, his voice low and menacing. You've been ignoring me, new girl. I don't like being ignored. Amara stepped back, her heart racing. I told you, I don't want trouble. Ethan's smirk faded, replaced by a cold glare. Too late for that. He shoved her, hard. Amara stumbled, hitting the ground, pain shooting through her elbow as it scraped the pavement. Ethan's friends laughed, but there was an edge to their laughter now. Amara scrambled to her feet. Leave me alone, Ethan, she said, her voice shaking but defiant. Ethan's eyes darkened. You don't tell me what to do. He grabbed her arm, twisting it behind her back. Amara cried out, the pain sharp. Ethan leaned in, whispering, You think you're untouchable? You're nothing. Amara's vision blurred with tears, but she refused to break. She twisted out of his grip, shoving him back. Ethan stumbled, rage flashing across his face. He lunged, slamming her against the bleachers. Amara's head hit the metal with a thud, and she crumpled to the ground, her vision swimming. Ethan stood over her, breathing heavily. Stay down, he spat, then walked away, his crew following. Amara lay there, her body aching, her head throbbing. She touched the back of her head, feeling blood. Slowly, she pulled out her phone and dialed Vin. I need you, she whispered. Vin Diesel arrived at Lincoln High within 20 minutes, his black Dodge Charger Hellcat roaring into the parking lot. Students gathered, whispering as the tinted window rolled down to reveal Vin's face. He stepped out, his expression a mix of fury and concern, and strode to the courtyard where Amara sat on a bench, an ice pack pressed to her head. A school nurse hovered nearby. Vin knelt in front of Amara. You okay, kid? Amara nodded, her eyes red from crying. He attacked me, Vin. I didn't do anything. Vin's jaw clenched, his gaze shifting to the school. Where is he? Ethan emerged from the cafeteria, his friends trailing behind. He froze when he saw Vin, his cocky demeanor vanishing. The crowd parted as Vin stood, his presence commanding. Ethan's eyes darted between Vin and Amara, confusion and fear creeping in. Vin walked toward him. You Ethan Brooks? He asked, his voice low and dangerous. Ethan swallowed hard. Yeah. Who are you? Vin stopped a few feet away, his gaze piercing. I'm her dad, and you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The courtyard went silent. Ethan's face paled as the realization hit. Amara was Vin Diesel's daughter. His friends stepped back, distancing themselves. Amara stood slowly, her voice steady despite the pain. You thought I was nothing, Ethan, but you don't know me. Ethan opened his mouth, but no words came out. He looked small, insignificant. Vin turned to the principal, who had just arrived. I want him dealt with, Vin said, his tone firm. Now. The fallout was swift. Ethan's assault was witnessed by enough students that the school couldn't ignore it. Security footage confirmed the attack, and Ethan was suspended pending expulsion. Amara's injuries, a concussion and a sprained wrist, led to criminal charges for assault. The story made local news, with headlines like, Chicago teen assaulted by classmate, revealed as Vin Diesel's daughter. At school, the social hierarchy shifted. Ethan's friends abandoned him, unwilling to be associated with his actions. Students who once feared him now whispered about his downfall, some apologizing to Amara for not stepping in. Amara didn't revel in the attention. She just wanted to move forward. Ethan's trial began a week later. Amara sat in the courtroom, Vin by her side, as the prosecutor presented the evidence. Security footage, witness testimonies, and Amara's medical records. Ethan's defense claimed he was a troubled teen, but the judge wasn't swayed. Ethan was sentenced to 6 months in juvenile detention, with a year of probation to follow. His football scholarship offers were rescinded, his reputation in tatters. A month later, Amara stood in the school parking lot, watching as Vin pulled up in his Charger. She'd started to find her place at Lincoln High, making friends, joining the art club, and smiling more often. The weight of Ethan's bullying was gone, replaced by quiet confidence. Vin stepped out, his expression softer. "How's my girl doing?" Amara smiled, a real smile. "Better, a lot better." Vin nodded, pride in his eyes. "You handled this like a champ, kid. Didn't need me to fight your battles." "I needed you to be there," Amara said softly. "That was enough." Vin pulled her into a hug, his strong arms a reminder of her new family. As they drove away, Amara looked at Lincoln High, the place that had once felt like a battlefield. Now it was just a school, a place where she could finally be herself. Ethan Brooks became a cautionary tale, a reminder that power built on cruelty never lasts. Amara had won, not by fighting with fists, but by standing her ground and letting the truth do the work.